before we continue with the final part of this story, can I ask you for a small favor? If this series has touched you in any way, please tap the like button. It truly helps the channel more than you know. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe and stay connected with this community. Also, tell me, where in the world are you watching from? I genuinely enjoy reading your comments and seeing how our stories reach people from so many places. Thank you for being here. All done. Now, let's get right into the story. Over the following weeks, something unexpected began to bloom between them. It started innocently enough. Conversations about books, about the students they were helping, about the small victories that came when someone finally decoded a sentence they'd been struggling with for weeks. Noah would arrive on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, always 15 minutes early, always carrying a thermos of coffee he'd made at home because, as he said, prison coffee ruins you for the cheap stuff, but in a backward way. Now everything tastes better. Evelyn found herself looking forward to those evenings in a way that surprised her. She'd catch herself glancing at the clock around 5:45, anticipating his arrival at 6 o'clock. When he walked through the door, the room somehow felt more alive. "You read this one?" Noah asked one evening, holding up a copy of Toni Morrison's Beloved. "Years ago," Evelyn replied. "Why?" "One of my students asked about it, said her grandmother told her it was important, but I don't know if I'm qualified to teach it. The weight of it, you know." Evelyn set down the attendance sheet she'd been reviewing. "The weight of it is exactly why you're qualified. You understand what it means to carry history. Noah, to be haunted by choices. That's the whole heart of the book." He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something passed between them, a recognition that went deeper than their shared past. "You want to co-teach it with me?" he asked. "I think between the two of us, we might do it justice." "I'd like that," Evelyn said. And so they did. Wednesday evenings became Morrison nights. 5 students, ranging from a 19-year-old single mother to a 63-year-old mechanic who'd never learned to read properly as a child, gathered in a small classroom, while Noah and Evelyn guided them through Seed's story of trauma, memory, and the possibility of freedom. The discussions were rich, sometimes painful, always honest. Noah spoke about carrying the past like a ghost. Evelyn talked about the institutions that try to contain human messiness in neat categories. The students shared their own stories of things they couldn't put down, couldn't escape, couldn't quite forgive. After class, Noah and Evelyn would walk to the courtyard, a small square of concrete with few benches and some struggling trees that the city had planted years ago in a beautification effort. They'd sit in the late evening air, watching the sky fade from blue to purple black, and talk about everything and nothing. "Can I ask you something?" Noah said one night, about 2 months into their friendship. "Of course." "Why'd you really do it?" "That day in court. The recording." Evelyn was quiet for a long moment. "Honestly, I don't know if I can fully explain it. I'd spent 22 years maintaining this careful distance between myself and the people who appeared before me. I had to, or the weight of it all would have crushed me. But when you showed me that photograph, when you asked for those 30 minutes, I saw something I recognized." "What was that?" "Love fighting against impossible odds. And I guess I wanted love to win, just once, even if it was complicated, even if it was messy." Noah nodded slowly. "It saved me, you know, having that recording. Knowing Maya would hear my voice someday. It gave me something to hold on to when everything else felt pointless." "You save yourself," Evelyn corrected gently. "I just opened a door. You're the one who walked through it and kept walking." Their conversations deepened. Noah told her about the violence that had led to his incarceration, a bar fight that had escalated when he'd seen another man harassing Shanice. He'd let rage override reason, had beaten the man badly enough to require hospitalization. He didn't make excuses, but he helped Evelyn understand the context. Young, scared, desperate to prove he could protect his family, too immature to know there were better ways. Evelyn told him things she'd rarely shared with anyone about her own daughter, Sarah, who had died in a car accident at 16, about the way that loss had calcified something inside her, had made her retreat into the safety of rules and procedures because grief was too wild, too uncontrollable. That's why you became a judge, Noah said. It wasn't a question. Partially, I needed order. I needed to believe that if we followed the right steps, made the right decisions, we could prevent chaos. But life doesn't work that way, does it? No, Noah agreed. It really doesn't. One evening, they were both reaching for the same book in the small library, a guide to teaching adult literacy that they'd both been meaning to read. Their hands touched, and neither pulled away immediately. It was a moment that lasted only seconds, but its echo reverberated through both of them. Sorry, Noah said, stepping back. Don't be, Evelyn replied, her voice softer than usual. They looked at each other, and something unspoken passed between them, an acknowledgement, a question neither was quite ready to ask. The friendship continued, but now there was an undercurrent, an awareness of each other that went beyond camaraderie. Noah found himself noticing the way Evelyn tucked her hair behind her ear when she was concentrating. Evelyn caught herself smiling at Noah's texts, quick messages about books he thought she'd enjoy or funny things his students had said. They started meeting outside the literacy program. Coffee on Saturday mornings at a small cafe that served pastries and played jazz. Walks along the riverfront market where they buy fresh fruit and debate recipes they'd probably never make. Evenings when Noah would call just to talk, his voice dropping low as he shared his fears about whether he was doing right by Maya, and Evelyn would listen the way she'd forgotten how to listen, without judgment, without solutions, just presence. Maya noticed. You've been smiling at your phone a lot, she said one Sunday when Noah picked her up for their weekly lunch. Have I? Noah tried to sound casual. Is it a woman? Noah nearly drove off the road. Why would you ask that? Because you get this dumb look on your face, like in movies when people are falling in love but don't know it yet. Maya, I'm just saying, it's okay if you like someone, Dad. You're allowed to be happy. Those words, you're allowed to be happy, hit Noah like a physical thing. He'd spent so many years believing he needed to earn happiness through suffering, through penance, that the idea of simply being allowed to feel joy seemed revolutionary. That night, he called Evelyn. Can I tell you something kind of crazy? He asked. Please do. I could use some crazy. My 12-year-old daughter just gave me permission to have feelings. Isn't that backward? Shouldn't I be the one telling her that? Evelyn laughed. A real, full laugh that Noah had come to treasure. Welcome to parenthood, where children teach us more than we teach them. What feelings is she giving you permission for? Noah hesitated, then decided honesty was the only option. She thinks I'm falling for someone, and she says that's okay. The line went quiet for a moment. Is she right? Evelyn asked, her voice careful. Yeah, Noah said. Yeah, I think she is. Is that completely inappropriate, given our history? I don't know, Evelyn admitted. I've been asking myself the same question about you, and I don't have an answer. But I know that when I'm with you, I feel more myself than I have in years. You make me remember that life can be more than just duty and responsibility. You make me want to be brave. Evelyn Grant, you're the bravest person I've ever met. No, I've been careful. Safe. There's a difference. But with you, I want to be brave. They met the next day at the park, where Noah had first reunited with Maya. It felt symbolic somehow, a place of new beginnings. I need to be honest with you about something, Evelyn said as they sat on a bench overlooking a small pond. I'm worried about the optics. A retired judge and a formerly incarcerated man, she once sentenced. People will talk. They'll say I took advantage of my position, that there's a power imbalance, that this is inappropriate at best and unethical at worst. They're not wrong. Noah said, there's a power imbalance. You held my life in your hands once. That doesn't just go away. No, it doesn't. So we need to be clear, crystal clear, about what this is and isn't. This can't be about gratitude. It can't be about me saving you or you being indebted to me. If we're going to do this, it has to be because we're two people who genuinely care about each other, independent of our history. Noah turned to face her fully. Evelyn, I'm not falling for you because you granted me 30 minutes in a courtroom 7 years ago. I'm falling for you because you listen to my students like their words matter. Because you get excited about teaching someone to read a paragraph they couldn't read last week. Because you're kind and brilliant and funny in this quiet way that sneaks up on you. Because when I'm with you, I feel like I'm becoming the man I always wanted to be. Evelyn's eyes glistened. And I care about you because you're thoughtful and patient, and you've done the real work of change. Because you make me laugh. Because you see me as more than my title or my past. Because you've shown me that redemption isn't just a legal concept. It's a daily practice. So where does that leave us? Somewhere uncertain. Somewhere complicated. Somewhere we'll have to figure out as we go. Noah reached for her hand. She let him take it. I can live with uncertain, he said. So can I. Their first kiss happened 3 weeks later, after a particularly grueling session where they'd helped a student finally master long division. Something she'd struggled with for months. The student had cried with relief and joy. And after she'd left, Noah and Evelyn had stood in the empty classroom, both of them feeling the weight and wonder of small victories. We did good today, Noah said. We did. He stepped closer. Can I? She answered by closing the distance between them. The kiss was tender, searching, full of questions and hopes. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. Okay, Noah asked. Very okay. But of course, nothing stays simple for long. If you're invested in this story, if you're feeling what I'm feeling telling it, I need you to do something for me. Drop a comment right now. Tell me, have you ever had to choose between what's right and what people think is right? Have you ever loved someone the world said you shouldn't? Share your story. And if this is resonating with you, hit that share button. Someone in your life needs to hear this message about love, redemption, and choosing courage over convention. Let's build this community together. Now, back to Noah and Evelyn, who were about to learn that choosing each other was only the beginning of their story. For a while, they existed in a private world. Coffee dates, long walks, evenings at Evelyn's modest townhouse where they'd cook dinner together. Noah teaching her recipes he'd learned from his grandmother, Evelyn introducing him to techniques she'd picked up from cooking shows she'd watched during her lonely retirement months. They were careful. They didn't advertise their relationship, but they didn't hide it either. When friends asked, they were honest. When Maya asked to meet Evelyn, they arranged a casual lunch at a neutral restaurant. So you're my dad's girlfriend? Maya asked, direct as always. I am, Evelyn said, if that's okay with you. Maya considered this. Are you going to break his heart? Maya, Noah started, but Evelyn held up a hand. That's a fair question. Maya, I can't promise I'll never hurt your dad, because people hurt each other sometimes even when they don't mean to. But I can promise that I care about him deeply, and I'll always try to be honest and kind. And I'll never try to replace your mom or interfere with your relationship with your dad. Okay. But if you do break his heart, I know where you live. Despite the threat, she was smiling. The three of them developed an easy rhythm. Maya would sometimes join them for volunteer events. Evelyn helped Maya with a history project on the civil rights movement. Noah would cook Sunday dinners at Evelyn's place, with Maya setting the table, and the three of them sharing the kind of ordinary moments that felt extraordinary precisely because they were so normal. But the outside world is never as accepting as we hope. It started with a blogger, one of those local gossip sites that trafficked in scandal and speculation. Someone had photographed Noah and Evelyn entering a coffee shop together, his hand on the small of her back, her head tilted toward him in obvious affection. The headline, former judge in inappropriate relationship with ex-con she sentenced? The article was a masterclass in innuendo. It detailed their history, questioned whether their relationship had begun while Noah was still incarcerated. It hadn't. suggested impropriety and abuse of power, and painted Evelyn as either a woman with a savior complex or someone with questionable judgment. The comments section was vicious. "This is disgusting. She sentenced him, and now she's dating him? What kind of sick power trip is that? Once a criminal, always a criminal. She's going to regret this. What about his victim? How must they feel seeing him playing happy family? This is why we can't trust the justice system. Judges like this making decisions based on feelings instead of law." Evelyn's phone exploded. Emails from former colleagues, some supportive but most concerned. Calls from reporters asking for comment. A letter from a judicial ethics organization requesting clarification on the nature and timeline of her relationship with Noah. Noah's parole officer called him in for a meeting. "Look, Bennett, I'm not saying you did anything wrong," Officer Martinez said, leaning back in his chair. "But this attention? It's not good. You've got another 3 years on parole. You can't afford any appearance of impropriety." "I'm dating someone I met after my release at a volunteer program we both work at," Noah said, trying to keep his voice level. "There's no impropriety. I know that. You know that. But perception matters. And right now, the perception is that you're in a relationship with a judge who sentenced you, which looks like either manipulation on your part or poor judgment on hers. So what are you saying?" "I'm saying be careful. Keep your nose clean. Don't give anyone a reason to question your rehabilitation." That night, Noah and Evelyn sat in her living room, the weight of the world pressing down on them. "Maybe they're right," Noah said quietly. "Maybe this is too complicated, too messy. Do you want to end this?" Evelyn asked, her voice steady despite the fear in her chest. "No. God, no. But I don't want to hurt you either. Your reputation, your legacy. My legacy is my own to shape. And if people can't understand that two adults can form a genuine connection independent of their professional history, that's their limitation, not ours. But the power imbalance is real," Evelyn acknowledged. "I'm not going to pretend it isn't. I sentenced you. That's a fact. But you serve your sentence. You're not beholden to me. You don't owe me anything. If you're with me, it's because you choose to be, not because you feel obligated." Noah took her hands. "I need you to hear me. I'm not with you out of gratitude or obligation. I'm with you because you make me better, because you challenge me and support me and see me. Not the crime I committed or the sentence I served, but me. And I'm with you because you remind me what it means to be fully human, to take risks, to believe in transformation. Noah, I spent 22 years on the bench maintaining perfect professional distance. I was good at it, but I was also lonely. You've helped me remember that justice without humanity is just mechanism, that mercy matters, that people are more than the worst thing they've ever done. So we keep going, but we do it with eyes open. We acknowledge the complexity. We're honest about the challenges, and we don't let other people's judgments dictate our choices." They held each other then. Two people who had found an unlikely shelter in each other, determined not to let the storm tear them apart. But the storm wasn't finished with them yet. The internal storm, the one that mattered more than any blog post or judgmental email, came from Noah himself. He'd spent 7 years in prison learning to manage his anger, his impulsiveness, his tendency to react rather than reflect. But he'd also developed patterns, defense mechanisms that helped him survive incarceration but didn't serve him in freedom. One of those patterns was retreat. When things got hard, when emotions got overwhelming, Noah would pull back into himself, become silent and distant. It was how he protected himself inside, where vulnerability could be dangerous. Now, with the public scrutiny increasing and the pressure mounting, he felt that old instinct rising, the voice in his head that said he was putting Evelyn at risk, that he was damaging her reputation, that he should walk away before he caused more harm. He started canceling plans, giving short answers to text messages, showing up late to volunteer sessions, and leaving early. Evelyn noticed immediately. "Noah, talk to me. She said one evening when he'd barely said 10 words through dinner, "I'm fine." "You're not, and that's okay, but don't shut me out." "I'm not." He stopped, caught in a lie. "I don't know how to do this, Evelyn. I don't know how to be with someone when the whole world is watching and judging. I don't know how to let you in without feeling like I'm going to break something. You're not going to break me. You don't know that." "Yes, I do. Noah, I'm not some delicate thing. I'm a woman who spent 2 decades making hard decisions and weathering criticism. I can handle this. What I can't handle is you disappearing on me." He stood, pacing her small living room like a caged animal. "Every time I see another article or another comment calling me manipulative or calling you naive, I want to prove them right. I want to run. I want to go back to being alone, because alone is simpler. But alone is also lonelier, harder, smaller." "I know." The words burst out of him. "I know that. But what if they're right? What if I'm so damaged from prison that I can't have a normal relationship? What if I'm always going to be carrying this weight and it's going to crush both of us?" Evelyn stood, crossed him, put her hands on his face. So he had to look at her. "Listen to me. You are carrying weight. That's true, but you're not carrying it alone anymore. That's what partnership means. We share the load. And yes, sometimes it's going to be hard. Sometimes the weight is going to feel unbearable, but we face it together." Tears tracked down Noah's face. "I'm scared." "So am I. But I'm more scared of losing you than I am of what anyone else thinks." That night, they talked until 3 a.m. Really talked. About Noah's fears of inadequacy, his struggles with feeling worthy of love, about Evelyn's terror of opening herself up after years of self-protection, about the ways they both had to consciously choose each other every day, despite the obstacles. "I need you to promise me something," Evelyn said as dawn light started creeping through the windows. "Promise me that when things get hard, you won't run. You'll talk to me, even if it's messy. Even if you don't have the right words. Just stay." "I promise," Noah said. "And I need you to promise me something too. Promise me you'll be honest if this becomes too much. If the scrutiny or the complications start outweighing the good, don't stay out of some sense of obligation or mercy. I promise. This isn't mercy, Noah. This is love. And love is work, but it's work I'm choosing." They fell asleep on the couch, tangled together, exhausted but committed. The healing wasn't immediate. Noah had to learn to recognize when he was starting to retreat and actively fight against that instinct. Evelyn had to learn to push past her natural inclination towards self-sufficiency and actually ask for what she needed. They started seeing a counselor together, a no-nonsense woman named Dr. Patricia Okafor, who specialized in relationships complicated by trauma and power dynamics. "What you two have isn't wrong," Dr. Okafor told them in their 3rd session. "But it is complex, and complexity requires consciousness. You have to be more intentional than most couples because your foundation is unusual. That doesn't mean it's weak. It just means you have to pay attention." They paid attention. They developed rituals. Sunday morning coffee where they checked in about how they were feeling. Thursday evening walks where they talked about the week ahead. A rule that if either of them said, "I need to talk," the other would make time within 24 hours. No exceptions. They also started building a life together in tangible ways. Noah officially moved some of his things into Evelyn's townhouse. They painted Maya's room. She wanted it blue, like the ocean, for all the marine life she was going to study someday. They hosted a dinner party for the volunteers at the literacy program, coming out publicly as a couple to the people who mattered most to them. The response was mostly positive. Some were surprised, a few were skeptical, but most were supportive. "About time," said Marcus, the older man who'd mentored Noah in prison and now volunteered at the same program. "Life's too short to waste on worrying what people think. If you two make each other happy, that's all that matters." And they did make each other happy, in the small ways that accumulate into a life. Noah making Evelyn laugh with terrible jokes while they washed dishes. Evelyn reading to Noah from books she loved while he cooked. The way they developed a shorthand, understanding each other with just a look. The comfort of waking up together, of shared coffee and morning quiet. Maya was thriving too. She started bringing friends around, which Evelyn took as a sign of trust. One Saturday, Maya had 3 classmates over for a marine biology study session, and Evelyn found herself making snacks and listening to 12-year-olds debate the intelligence of octopuses versus dolphins. "You're good at this," Noah said, watching from the doorway. "At what?" "Being present, being family." The word hung in the air between them. Family, neither had dared say it before. "Is that what we are?" Evelyn asked softly. Getting there, Noah said, "If you want to be." "I do," Evelyn said. "I really do." Then came the twist neither of them saw coming. A woman named Jennifer Holbrook, a paralegal who had worked on Noah's original case, reached out to his public defender, Robert Chun, with new information. An original witness had given testimony that wasn't entirely accurate. The witness, feeling guilty after years of living with the lie, wanted to come forward. The witness had been pressured by the prosecutor to strengthen their testimony, to say they'd seen Noah instigate the fight, when really they'd arrived after it had already started. It wasn't enough to prove Noah innocent. He'd still committed assault, but it complicated the narrative. It suggested the prosecution had been overzealous, more interested in a conviction than the full truth. Robert Chin called Noah. This could be grounds for a review, maybe not overturning the conviction, but possibly reducing it retroactively. At minimum, it's acknowledgement that the system didn't serve you as well as it should have. Noah sat with the information for days. Part of him wanted to pursue it aggressively, to have the record reflect the full truth. But another part worried about reopening old wounds, about what would mean for Evelyn to be dragged back into it all. "What do you think?" he asked Evelyn one evening. "I think it's your decision. But I also think the truth matters, not for revenge or vindication, but because the system needs to be held accountable when it fails people. Even if it means you get pulled into it, they'll want your input, your perspective as a sentencing judge." "Then I'll give it. Noah, I'm not afraid of being associated with your case. I made a decision 7 years ago to grant you mercy. I don't regret it. If anything, this new information validates what I felt then, that your case was more complicated than the prosecutor wanted us to believe." They decided to pursue it, not through loud public appeals, but through proper legal channels. A formal petition for review. Evelyn agreed to be interviewed by the reviewing board, not as Noah's partner, but as the original sentencing judge willing to reconsider in light of new evidence. The hearing was quiet, almost anticlimactic. No cameras, no press, just lawyers, a panel of 3 judges, and testimony from Jennifer Holbrook about the prosecutorial pressure, from the original witness about their incomplete testimony, and from Evelyn about her original sentencing decision. "Your Honor," Evelyn said, "strange to be calling someone else that. When I sentenced Mr. Bennett, I worked with the information provided to me. The prosecution painted a picture of a violent young man who'd brutally attacked someone without provocation. But even then, something felt incomplete. That's why I granted his unusual request. Because I saw humanity where the system wanted me to see only criminality. This new evidence confirms what I intuited, that Noah Bennett, while absolutely responsible for his actions, was perhaps not the monster he was made out to be. The board didn't overturn the conviction, but they did issue a formal acknowledgement that procedural irregularities had occurred, and they commuted Noah's record such that his formal sentence was listed as time served rather than the original 10 years. It was a subtle but significant difference, one that would make future employment easier, that would remove some of the permanent stain. Walking out of that courthouse together, Noah and Evelyn stopped at the same small park where they'd had their first honest conversation about their relationship. "I don't want to be defined by what I was," Noah said, echoing words he'd spoken before. "Nor do I," Evelyn replied, "but we are shaped by the choices that come after." They kissed, Not hidden, not ashamed, but openly. Two people who found each other through the most unlikely circumstances and chosen, again and again, to build something real. Years folded into more years. Noah's work with formerly incarcerated individuals expanded. He became a consultant for reentry programs, speaking at conferences about the importance of seeing people as more than their worst decisions. He co-authored a paper with Evelyn about restorative justice practices in sentencing, which was published in a legal journal and sparked considerable debate. Evelyn continued teaching, but also started writing a book about her years on the bench, about the cases that haunted her, about what she'd learned about justice and mercy. The chapter about Noah was the most difficult and the most important. She wrote it honestly, without romanticizing or simplifying, acknowledging the complexity and the criticism, while also standing firm in her belief that what they'd found was real and worth defending. Maya graduated high school with honors and a full scholarship to study marine biology. At her graduation party, surrounded by friends and family, she gave a speech that made both Noah and Evelyn cry. My dad always says that the recording he made for me when I was 4 saved his life. But I think he saved his own life, one choice at a time, one day at a time. And Evelyn, she looked directly at the woman who had become such an integral part of their family. Thank you for seeing my dad when he couldn't see himself. Thank you for teaching me that people are more complicated than their mistakes, and that love can grow in the most unexpected places. The applause was thunderous. That night, after everyone had left and they were cleaning up paper plates and deflated balloons, Noah pulled out his wallet. Inside, warm but intact, was the original photograph of 4-year-old Maya. You still carry it? Evelyn asked. Always. It reminds me where I've been, where I'm going, everything that matters. Evelyn pulled him close. We've built something good, haven't we? Better than good. We've built something true. They stood in Evelyn's, their living room, surrounded by the accumulated evidence of a life shared. Books piled on tables, Maya's school photos on the walls, Noah's terrible coffee mug collection taking over the kitchen cabinets, Evelyn's law journals mixed with Noah's teaching materials. It wasn't a fairy tale. There had been hard conversations, sleepless nights, moments of doubt. There would be more challenges ahead. There always were, but they'd proven to themselves and to each other that they could weather them. One Sunday morning, almost a decade after that first courtroom moment, Evelyn and Noah were having coffee on their small patio. The sun was gentle, the air was cool, and the newspaper lay forgotten between them. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I'd said no that day? Evelyn asked. If I denied your request for recording? Noah thought about it. I'd probably still be out. I'd probably still have reconnected with Maya. But this, he gestured between them, none of this would have happened. And I can't imagine that now. Can't imagine my life without you in it. Neither can I. Isn't that strange? How a single decision, a single moment of choosing compassion, can ripple out into an entire life. Not strange, Noah said. Grace. That's what you showed me that day. Grace. And you've been showing me ever since how to live with grace, how to extend it to myself, to others, to the world that isn't always kind. Evelyn reached across the table, took his hand. You've taught me too. You've taught me that systems, no matter how well-intentioned, can contain the fullness of human experience. That sometimes breaking the rules is the most moral thing you can do. That vulnerability is strength. Look at us, Noah laughed, getting philosophical over coffee. It's what we do best. Later that day, they went to visit the Literacy Center, now much expanded, serving hundreds of students a year. A plaque by the door read, "The Grant Bennett Learning Center, where every story deserves a second chapter." Inside, new volunteers worked with students, each person bringing their own history, their own complications, their own hopes. Noah and Evelyn walked through, offering encouragement, answering questions, embodying the principle they built their lives around, that everyone deserved a chance to write a better story. A young man, barely 20, fresh out of incarceration, eyes full of fear and hope, approached Noah. "Mr. Bennett, I heard about what you've done, about how you turned things around. I'm scared, man. Scared I'm going to mess up again. Scared no one's ever going to see me as anything other than my case number." Noah put a hand on his shoulder. "I know that fear. Lived with it every day. Still do sometimes. But here's what I learned. You're not your worst moment. You're every moment after that you choose to show up, to try, to be better. It's not easy. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's possible. How do you keep going when people judge you?" Noah glanced at Evelyn, who was helping a student across the room. "You find people who see you, really see you, and you let them remind you who you are when you forget." The young man nodded, something like hope flickering in his expression. As evening fell and they locked up the center, Noah and Evelyn walked home through streets that had witnessed so much of their story. The courthouse where it all began was visible in the distance, its columns lit up against the darkening sky. "No regrets?" Noah asked. "Not a single one," Evelyn replied. "You. Only that we didn't find each other sooner. But then again, maybe we found each other exactly when we were supposed to, when we were ready." "I think you're right." At home, they made dinner together, a routine so ordinary it felt sacred. They talked about their day, about Maya's latest update from college, about plans for the next week. They washed dishes side by side, dancing slightly to music playing from the kitchen speaker. They settled onto the couch with books, reading in comfortable silence, feet touching. And when they went to bed that night, Noah pulled Evelyn close and whispered, "Thank you." "For what?" "For choosing mercy, for choosing me, for choosing us." "Always," Evelyn said. "I'll always choose us. Before I let you go, I need you to do something. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that redemption is possible, that love can flourish in unexpected places, that mercy matters, then don't just watch and leave. Hit that like button right now. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their past doesn't define their future. Drop a comment telling me what resonated with you. And if you haven't subscribed to Mother Pen Tales, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Because we're building a community here that believes in second chances, in the power of forgiveness, in the possibility of transformation. Your engagement doesn't just help the channel. It helps spread this message to people who desperately need it. So please take that step right now. The story of Judge Evelyn Grant and Noah Bennett teaches us something profound. That mercy isn't just a single act. It's a daily practice. That love isn't always convenient or simple, but it's always worth fighting for.